6th grade. It is now Friday, May 8th. We are done with another week of school and our online learning, and I'm so excited. We are breezing right through this stuff. I hope you all are doing well. I miss you guys so much. I hope you had a good night, and I hope you are enjoying yourself and you're staying healthy and well. Can't wait to see you again in person, but for now, this is the best we have, so let's make the most of it, okay? So we are on page 239. Let me start my clock here. All right, 239. Hopefully you can see this. I'll have to get out of the way here in a second, or move this out of the way. All right, 239, using adverbs correctly. Yesterday we did talk about misplaced modifiers. Those are the funny ones. And we talked about degrees of comparison. So before we do page 239, I'm going to look at these words up here. I'm going to point to a word, and you tell me what degree of comparison. You say, oh, that's positive, that's comparative, or that's superlative, and you will know based upon what it looks like, okay? So the first one is slowest. What degree of comparison is slowest? Answer at home. And so I'm going to call on Richard. Hope you're doing well, Richard. I miss you in class. Richard, can you tell me what the degree of comparison is for slowest? You're looking at this right here. If you said superlative, you are correct, okay? Because it has EST. What about quickly? It doesn't have EST or ER or more or most. So it is actually positive degree of comparison. What about better? Look on page 238 if you do not know. Better is comparative. Most cheerfully. Pay close attention to that word most. Heather, what degree of comparison is most? If you said superlative, you are correct. What about much? Look in the blue box on page 238. If you said positive, you are correct. Positive. And what about more intelligently? Look at that word there. What degree of comparison is that? Grayson, can you answer that? If you said comparative, you are correct, okay? So we can look at these words and tell what degree of comparison is just by looking at the words and what do they have in them, all right? Let's look at page 239, using adverbs correctly. Okay, avoid the double comparison. Never use ER and more together or EST and most together. Only one form is needed. Do not use them together. So this is incorrect. He runs more faster than I do. And that's not right. He runs faster than I do. Do not use more and ER or most and EST together. Look at the next example. Those who work most hardest will usually excel. Do not use the two of them together. Those who work hardest will usually excel. All right, let's see. Use the comparative degree when comparing two persons or things. Use the superlative degree when comparing three or more. We've already talked about this. So, here, listen to this. Of the two boys, Drew runs faster. Not fastest, because we're only comparing two boys. Of all the boys, Drew runs fastest, because we are comparing all the boys, so more than three, we use fastest, all right? Avoid the double negative. The following words are called negatives. I would highlight these. No, not, or the N apostrophe T, none, never, no one, nothing, hardly, scarcely. Do not use two negative words in the same statement. Have you ever heard someone say, you just canceled each other out, so you basically said something that was true, that was false, that was supposed to be true, or true that was supposed to be false, because you said a double negative, right? That's because they're listening in language class, okay? I myself have said that. I have a brother who likes to get on to me about everything, and he used to tell me that all the time. You're using a double negative, okay? You're using a double negative. All right, I hear his words right now with me, okay? Now, don't use a double negative, or you're going to have your classmates saying, you use a double negative, so that's not true, okay? So, listen to this sentence. He doesn't like none of those shoes. We used N apostrophe T and none in the same sentence. And that's a double negative. It should be, he doesn't like any of those shoes, or he likes none of those shoes. So get rid of one of those. We cannot hardly hear from the back row. We cannot hardly hear. We use not and hardly. They are both negatives. We have to use one or the other. It either is we can hardly hear from the back row, or we cannot hear from the back row. Okay? Don't use both. So look at thing A. In each blank, write the correct form of the word in parentheses. All right? So number 1, Benjamin works the blank of those 4 boys. The word in parentheses is hard. Benjamin works the what? Of 4 boys, it should be hardest. All right? Number 2, I know her blank than you do. The word in parentheses is well. I'm comparing I and you, 2 things. So based upon the blue box, the comparative of well is better. I know her better than you do. Number 3, of the 2 choices, I like the second one. It's a form of the word well. We're comparing 2 things. It should be better. Number 4, of the 3 candidates, Mackenzie campaigned blank. The word is vigorous. Okay, so remember, this is an adverb, and we said most adverbs are formed by adding what? They're comparing 3. It should be most vigorously. Most vigorously. Number 5, which do you like blank? Apples or oranges? Apples or oranges? We're comparing 2. So which do you like? The form of the word well. It should be better. Which do you like better? Number 6, if you do not do well at first, try blank next time. Okay? At first and with next time. 2 things. Try harder. Harder. Number 7, of the 2 hikers, Hunter started out blank. The form of the word early. How many hikers? 2. So he started out earlier. Add the ER. Remember, when you're comparing 2 things, you can add ER. Number 8, students speak more blank when they know the answer. A form of the word clear. Students speak more blank when they know the answer. Is it comparing anything? It is not. So it's just clearly. Students speak more clearly. Actually, it is comparing something. Students speak, what is it comparing? Let's go to number 9. Joshua pitches blank than any other pitcher in town. Joshua pitches blank than any other pitcher in town. Let's see, a form of the word hard. So he pitches, we're comparing Joshua and any other pitcher. So 2 things. Should be harder. And number 10, who can eat blank? James or Nate? A form of the word much. So look in the blue box and see which it should be. And it should be more. We're comparing James and Nate. So 2 things, and it should be more. Sorry, my mind is stuck on number 8. We have the word more, so it is comparing 2 things. Students speak more clearly when they know the answer, not more clearly-er. Okay, so don't use ER with the word more. Okay. Sorry for the confusion on that. All right, turn the page to 240. You know, it's when you're recording a video, usually when you're in class and you come across something that you're like, oh, wait a second. You have time to sit and think through it. But when you're on a video and you're recording, you know, it's kind of awkward because you're sitting there like, and then there's no one here to, you know, take up the time. So I'm sure you don't mind that. So 240. Think B. We're on Think B, page 240. The following sentences contain errors in the use of adverbs. Cross out any incorrect words and make corrections where necessary. So this goes back to our double negative or double comparison. And how do you use the correct degrees of comparison? Okay, so that is encompassing all of this. So think B. Number 1, the shoreline wasn't hardly visible through the fog. There are 2 negatives in that sentence. Can you find them? If you found an apostrophe T and hardly, you are correct. But remember, we cannot use both. So we need to cross out what? N apostrophe T. The shoreline was hardly visible. Or you could say the shoreline wasn't visible. So 2 ways to correct that. Number 2, which of the 2 pairs of shoes do you like best? There is a big mistake there. We are comparing 2 pairs of shoes, but we use the word best. What should it be? Better. Should be better. Number 3, I couldn't do nothing but tell the truth. There is a double negative. That means you can tell the truth, as my brother would say. What should we do there? Cross out the N apostrophe T, or I couldn't do anything. You can change the nothing to anything. So 2 ways to correct that. Number 4, of the 3 suggestions, I like the last one better. Uh-oh. How many suggestions are there? There's 3. So should it be better? What should it be? It should be best. So change better to best. Number 5. God never helps no man who refuses to work. We have the word never and the word no. They're both negative. We cannot use them in the same sentence. So what should it be? Cross out never. God helps no man who refuses to work. Or you could say, never helps any man. God never helps any man. So you need to take out one. You cannot use both. Or change that no to any. Number 6, which course do you like best? English or history? How many courses are you talking about? 2. So should it be best? No, you should cross out best and make it better. All right, 7 through 12, you pause the video, do on your own, and see if you can pick them out. And then push play, and we'll give you the answers. So stop now and finish the exercise. All right, hopefully you've done that. Number 7, you should cross out. It should be, we can't ever be separated from the love of God, or can never be separated from the love of God. So take out the N and change it to ever, because N apostrophe T and never are double negative. Number 8, take out the N apostrophe T and couldn't, or change it to we couldn't believe. Not hardly, but we couldn't believe. Number 9, of all the sermons that I have ever heard, I like Dr. Woodall's best. Number 10, of those two desserts, I like the chocolate pudding better. 2 desserts. Number 11, there was hardly no one at the beach. It should be, there was hardly anyone at the beach, or there was no one at the beach. And number 12, this is the most funniest book. No, cross out the word most. This is the funniest book I have ever read. So, how many of you, 7 through 12, caught all of those errors? Everybody catch all of them? I know you're all raising your hand right now because you are awesome. There's the bell. Okay, so that's not dismissing our class. So, all right, we only have 3 minutes left. I do not have time to do Thanks C, to finish Thanks C. So why don't you finish Thanks C today for the rest of your assignment, and I will put the answers on the class wall for you, so that way we can get our stuff done. So go ahead and finish Thanks C on page 240, and go on class wall and click on the link after you do it and make sure you got it right. So here's the instructions, okay? Use Think B as to answer the following questions. Circle the correct choice and write the letter of your choice on the spaces below in the yellow box. If you have chosen the correct letters, you will discover the answer to this riddle. What do you call an ant's forefathers? Okay, so number 1, let me give you an example of how to do this, okay? What is the first adverb in sentence number 1? So you're looking back and think B. What is the first adverb that you come across in sentence number 1? Is it A, N apostrophe T, or is it S, hardly? The first one. Remember, not and N apostrophe T are always adverbs. So if you said N apostrophe T, you are correct. So circle A and write A underneath or on top of number 1 at the bottom of that. And that's how you're going to do. So answer the questions using Think B as a guide, and then C, what do you call an ant's forefathers? All right? Some of you will get that and think it's funny. All right, so do that today and then check your answers. And have a great weekend, and I will see you next Monday fourth language